seat. There's your microphone. Do you want to do a quick rap as a test? Can you beatbox a rap? Hey.
Does that work?
Excellent. Adrian, have you been here before to Poland?
Poland many times. In fact, I set up my first business here in 1992.
Okay.
I was 4.
4.
It's a joke, I like using it, but if you've been around a long time, you use that joke, trust me.
I like it.
Yeah.
I look forward to that in the near future. So, in this world of short attention spans, if we've only got people's attention for 30 seconds, if you were to give the magic formula, so the title of this is called Winning in the New Digital Era.
Yeah.
So, if you were to give the formula, this plus this plus this equals winning, what would that be for a company?
So firstly, thank you for the opportunity to be here today, much appreciated. Look, thankfully, I really enjoyed the content so far today. Mm-hmm. And I think our conversation is about and what.
Yes. Like
there's lots of things to worry about in the world. And there are conscious things that we can do to make a difference. So for me, bringing digital excellence to the world, increasingly technology is not just about technology, it's actually about business, it's actually about society, it's actually about the outcome. So I would go with objective and motivation, plus strategy and resource, plus agility in planning and execution, and go. And if you can do that in a way which is digitally savvy, you have a high chance of winning.
You left out talent because you think AI is going to replace all of us?
You know, it's interesting. The more technology advances, the more human skills are needed. What is technology? Ultimately, it's just a sum of human knowledge, repackaged. And human talent has never been more relevant than it is today.
Yeah, we've had a couple people, including some AI experts, who are pioneering in the space, saying this lets us focus on being human. Right. All the tasks that we don't have to do, we can now send out to AI, and we can focus on things like compassion and caring and love and all of this, which is also my belief. But of course, there's a different sentiment out there as well, and recently we see a lot of things shifting. This is not a talk on AI. I actually want to pick up on the word strategy that you said.
Right.
Now, in the old days, strategy would be in the business unit. There are people who are dedicated to focusing on the direction of a company. Yeah. Would you say that is still the case, or do you feel that companies more and more, it's the technology side that is actually leading strategy?
You know, it doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, it's about a technology-driven business strategy that works. And there are many CIOs who are now CEOs, so there's plenty of people coming through technology who are taking larger roles.
Correct.
But likewise, the boardroom is now fully tech-savvy. I never come across a boardroom that doesn't understand the digital implications of what they're trying to achieve and how they're trying to achieve it. So it's about picking that course, understanding what the technology requirements are, trying a little bit of uniqueness, and then executing relentlessly.
I'm so glad to be talking to you here because I am so passionate about startups. You mentioned the word agility, and I think startups are best positioned, sometimes because of lack of resources, sometimes because there isn't legacy to deal with, to adapt immediately to opportunity and to shift courses. And I wonder, as someone representing one of the tech giants of the world, how do you see disruption, innovation? Do you still see that as something that Dell has to do, I think is obvious, but can do? Or is there some new models where you're working more collaboratively with startups? Or is there a very reasonable fear that one of the new entrants could, in a very short amount of time, take over? We've seen so many big companies and industries topple and change. Tell me the Dell perspective on this. How do you look at innovation, disruption, and all of that?
Yeah, well, number one, it's really exciting. And why do we do this? Ultimately, we do it for the passion for innovation, the passion to stay ahead, to be competitive, to provide more value than anyone else provides to society, to companies, to people. And so look, we also benefit from having Michael Dell, an owner-founder since inception, and a board that has been consistent. I've been basically in the company for 35 years myself. By extension, pretty much many of my team are here, have equivalent duration. And we stay because we enjoy the race to stay ahead. Which is really just about providing value on a larger scale, more dependably than anyone else over a period of time. And we like our cards going forward.
I heard a little rumor that you're actually on a call with Michael Dell soon after this.
Absolutely. Yep.
Word gets around fast. I know we're on a schedule because you got to go for that.
We do.
So in the short amount of time that we have left, I know digitization, okay, I actually live in Germany, which I think, don't quote me on this, I know I'm on stage, is well behind Poland when it comes to quite a few of these topics around the future and technology and innovation. And for many people here, they're like, why are you talking about technology? It's obvious. But for some, there's still a barrier to entry, especially around the cost element. What are some of your thoughts on the business models and the new models around integrating technology?
Thank you, Dan. Look, I think there's a fundamental shift, and the fundamental shift to success in business and success in government is the realization of the central nature of digital. And so I will say, when I started, 36 years ago, we used to have something called an IT budget, which was a backroom thing, and you didn't really see IT people, and they never had a tan because they were always downstairs. And the IT budget was a fixed thing that automated a few processes. Nowadays, IT is the business. IT is the government program. And, I speak now to many CEOs, many finance CEOs, for example, who say, look, Adrian, this is simple. We're a software development company with a banking license. Think of us that way. So it's about making that transition to understanding just how central digital is, organizing your finances to do so, utilizing digital and AI to make your people more efficient. So for us, by the way, AI is way better at forecasting than people are, and logistics. And we all have digital twins now who help us with proposals. So, this kind of digital twin thing making us more efficient, etc. So it's a mind shift in terms of how we utilize all of our resources, but also how we train and develop our people to, you might say there's a value line in terms of how we use people. Anything below the line can be automated, so don't use people there.
Right.
Anything above the line is where you want your people focused, and that's where we start to get into the human characteristics that drive more, real business value. And the ones who do that well are the ones that are winning.
I like the way that you're sharing that. I know 5-6 years ago when I was asked to host events in Germany, they were car companies.
Yeah.
And they were called car companies.
Right.
Now they don't.
Right.
They're called mobility solutions at best, but they also realize they're data companies.
Yep.
They just happen to be selling hardware that looks like cars,
right.
And scooters and everything else.
Well, they're mobile data centers nowadays.
Right.
They have thousands of data transmission devices, little $1, $2 things all over them. It's actually a great example of how the digital world is changing in front of our eyes.
It's exciting.
Yeah.
And so for the crowd that is here, a lot of business leaders, decision makers, what are your thoughts when it comes to winning in the digital era? What is it that Poland might be uniquely positioned for, or that you think is like, here's a mantra moving forward?
Yeah. I would say number one, don't panic.
Yes.
Right? There are easy answers here. You can win in digital. So everyone wants three things. They want to, number one, win in the digital age.
Yes.
They want to, number two, be truly cyber secure. And number three, they want to utilize the promise of digital to change the nature of cost. So the promise here is that we have a better customer experience, better customer loyalty, but at a lower cost to serve.
Correct.
And the most successful models are achieving all three. And, ask around. There's plenty of information out there. We can help you achieve those objectives and accelerate. And unfortunately, we have to move at the speed of digital. That's the other big message is, we're beyond it. There used to be a time where you could make a mistake, and that didn't cause a problem. But now companies aren't falling into problems just because they make a mistake. Likewise, they're not necessarily winning just because they work hard. You have to be digital savvy, and you have to use that tool to its most to win.
Amazing. I know you've got your call with Michael Dell in a few minutes, and I also know that Dell has a team here, and they're around and walking, so please do interact if there's anything that Adrian has shared that kind of triggers, especially around don't panic and just get started. Obviously, Dell, like any other tech giants, work at every cross-sector of society, and there's probably something in there for you to take a step forward. Let's give it up for the wonderful Adrian.
Thank you, Dan.
Thank you so much. Enjoy the call.